Hello everyone, Carlos Flores, back on basics. So before we begin this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so you can get notified of any new videos that come on board. Remember, if you have any questions, suggestions, topics, put them in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Also, if you want to connect with me on other social media outlets, you can connect with me on Facebook by searching Carlos Flores Jr. and seeing this mug, this face, right, with my scruffy beard. You can connect with me on Instagram or on X, either one of those, by typing in @BackOnBasics. And now you can actually connect with me on WhatsApp by typing in @BackOnBasics 9985. So today's topic is this, and I just made two shorts, right? Spanish and English. You know that. I haven't done a long video in 2 days. It's been an interesting 2 days. It's not that anything is bad, right? But just been busy. I've been teaching again at University of Phoenix. I had a little hiatus. It means I had a little bit of a break, and so about 3 weeks, and so I started a class. It just remember what I said, right? Making these videos for you motivates me. It just gets me in that mindset so that way I can help you out the best that I can. Then I realized that teaching at University of Phoenix, teaching psychology, and now I'm actually teaching the first ever class of students in different majors, and it's like it's an introductory class. It's up my alley. I know the resources. I bring resources, so I'm going to bring in mental health. I'm going to bring in the university library, which is awesome, by the way. That's one of the things about University of Phoenix, the library. You can see videos, you can see everything's electronic. You don't have to go to a physical library. You can just download everything. It's like, So I use it everywhere. So if you're an alumni of University of Phoenix, you can actually use the University of Phoenix library anywhere you go. You just have to remember your student login. Just a tip for those of you that went to University of Phoenix. I know that not everybody has done it, but again, I'm just letting you know. So today's topic is about accepting yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've been going back and forth. I've been trying to figure out who I am. In the past week, I've been really trying to figure out who I am. I've been adapting, right? I've been connecting with my support system, or some members of my support system. I've been missing my dad. That's the reason why I'm wearing this soccer team. I actually have a jersey and shorts, and I think I've said it before, and I've showed you before. I love soccer. I wish if I'm fast, but a lot of the times I took it for granted, and I took for granted that I love sports, and I took for granted the fact that I had a gift for physical stuff, for sports, for acting, for modeling, for making videos. And so, that's what I've been searching for this past week. And these 2 days where I haven't done a large video, I've actually stopped and I said to myself, what are the things that are good? What are the things that are bad? And what are the things that are ugly? And you know what? There were a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, and a couple of ugly things. And so, and that's great because you know what I did is I wrote it down. So that became my list. It's kind of like a honey-do list, right? It's kind of like a to-do list. So I wrote things down, and I divided by the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it doesn't really matter because that makes me who I am. And that's the topic for today. You have to accept who you are. You are very unique. Very unique. I mean, uh, today I was watching Olympic soccer. I also watch other sports, but I watch Olympic soccer, and it made me reminisce. And I started tearing. I actually was crying a little bit because I miss my dad. My dad would have been watching every single soccer match. He would have watched the live ones. He would have watched the replays. He would have watched the super replays. He would have watched the highlights. I mean, we just finished Copa America here in the United States, right? And so, I mean, that's another one that he would have watched all matches, and then it was just nostalgic. I felt bad, you know. He was a great person. He was a great person. He was my true north. Without him, I wouldn't be the person that I was here. Without both my parents, both my mom and dad, I wouldn't be the person that I am right here. And you know, what kind of person am I? I've told you before, right? Compassionate. I love to be compassionate. I want to be compassionate, understanding, being able to adapt, be able to, honestly, be able to give people hope, be able to give people resources so that way they can move forward, be able to give myself hope and give myself the way that I can have mind body balance, right? It's like, it's amazing. I mean, it's amazing that we take a lot of things for granted as human beings. And the thing is, about two-thirds, if not more of us, we minimize our goods and we accentuate or make big our bads. We don't want to deal with the ugly a lot of the times. I don't want to deal with the ugly a lot of times. But we minimize, we make the most important things that make us, the positive things, small. But we tend to beat ourselves up because we think that we have too many bads. But that's who we are. You know, that's our life experiences. That's what happens. It's hard to it's hard to be you just by having goods. It's hard to be you just by having goods and bads. It sucks, but it's hard to be you just by having the uglies. You know, for the uglies would be being in the war, experience death in El Salvador when I was little. Experience losing a country to come here, losing being in El Salvador to come here. No, I've told you before. In El Salvador, I used to dance. I used to be part of, of performances. I used to be part of plays. I used to be part of the Catholic Church. I actually would ring the bell. I would bring I would bring the. I don't think I brought ever the Eucharist because that's what the priest does, El Padre. That's what he does. But I brought over the napkins to put the Eucharist on. I mean, you know what? If I were to look back at my life today, it's been pretty awesome. The good, the bad, and the ugly make it awesome. The good, because it has made me a person who has compassion, who takes care of people, who builds people up, right? You don't knock them down, you build them up. Don't be afraid to teach people things that you know because you're afraid that they're going to take over your job or your spot or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? Because if somebody else knows what you know, there's a compounding effect. Now you have 2 people or 3 people or 4 people. Now you have a group that works together or that knows what to do. I mean, you know, the bads, there's some bads. I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, it's hard to it's hard to fathom a lot of the times because because I know I have a dark side. I do, and the thing is, I bring it out in the most nicest positive way I can. My dark side. In Halloween, I don't know how many past Halloweens I've dressed like the Crow, dark, right? Um, some Halloweens, some Halloweens I dress like the different iterations of the Joker. I mean, I've been to different Jokers. I mean, all the way to Heath Ledger's Joker. Um, and to the point that one of my kids' friends, college, and I think he graduated from college, always remembers the fact that I scare the poop out of him, not literally though, figuratively, because I was dressed like the Joker in at one of the pool parties that my kids had. I didn't know that. It was amazing. I mean, it's a story that I love telling, but it's like it's the good and the bad and the ugly, right? It's I've had experiences. I mean, honestly, I've done a lot of things, and I'm using this time to kind of tell you, right? Because I've accepted most of it. Not everything. You don't have to accept everything, but I've accepted most of it. And that's why I'm like this. That's why I'm like, I want to help. I want to create these videos so that way you know that it's okay to accept yourself where you're at. Where you're at. At this point, this one right here, that's from Big Bang Theory. Uh, it's Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. Anyways, it's an episode. Again, I'm excited because I haven't done a video in 2 days, so I'm rambling on. But there's so many things that I've done. I played football. I played soccer. I told you I've wrestled, not a professional wrestling, but amateur wrestling. I mean, holy crap! And this week I've been thinking about that, and it's like I've led a really good life. Yes, there's some ugly. The war was ugly. Death was ugly. Seeing people on fire was ugly. Not going to Catholic school because there was a firefight right in front of us, and my dad's friend on the ground telling us to go back, and the bus had to go back reversed and then made a U-turn. I don't know how the heck the driver made a U-turn, but we were all safe. That was ugly. And then there's been some bads, right? They're always bad. Hey, I'm always working on things, and I want to be open. So that way you know that by accepting yourself for who you are, your life experiences, right? Your genetic makeup, your family tree, the good, the bad, and the ugly, then you will be able to start accepting you. And you will be able to start setting it aside. Because remember, every time when I was doing therapy and there was somebody that was grieving because of somebody passed away in their family, I told them, and I've been telling this myself, especially today, I told them, I said, look, you're never going to forget the person that passed. The thing is, feelings and emotions and anxiety and anger and happiness and any other emotions that you feel for the person that passed, it's slowly gonna become smaller and smaller and smaller. It's never gonna go away. Believe me, I can tell you. But it's gonna get smaller and smaller. It doesn't mean that you're gonna forget. It just means you have accepted. It just means that you're ready to share their story with others. Just like I've shared my dad's stories with you all. I mean, he passed in March recently. I mean, to me, it's very recent. I'm still going to grief groups every week. I love it. I don't tell them that I was a therapist, that I was a counselor, that I was a life balance coach, that I've been doing all of this, that I have all this education. I'm just a member. But I share my dad's stories. And I share how I feel about my dad. And it's processing and it's helping me. So remember, you have to accept where you're at. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Because if you don't, then you're not going to move on. You're not going to be able to get to your goals and dreams. You have to make sure that you process the good. You develop the goods. My compassion, man, if you were to measure my compassion, I mean, I would give you the shirt off my back if I had to. I can de-escalate people when they're sad, when they're mad, when they're down. It's just a gift that I have, and I appreciate that gift because I actually help de-escalate, make them feel neutral. But it's hard, you know that. I feel like if anybody has watched X-Men, and I'm gonna end with this one. If anybody has watched X-Men, I love X-Men. I love the X-Men 97. I love the movies. But the cartoon, you know, the one on Disney Plus right now that came back in 1987, 1997, I don't know, whichever ends with 7. It's interesting, right? How society sees things. My way of doing things, I sense things. Remember, I get goosebumps when I talk about my life, when I talk about people. When I sense things, I can sense them really strong. And so I tell people that I'm like Rogue. I don't know if anybody remembers Rogue, right? She's the one with the gloves. If she touches you, she sucks your energy towards her. And that's how I feel. And sometimes I'm so exhausted by the time I'm done with work. It's because, I don't know, people just like to talk to me. And I love to talk to people, even though I'm an introvert. But again, accept yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You're great. You're unique. You're the only one. You're the one who can decide for you to move forward. You're the one who can decide to take the first step into your next challenge, into your next adventure. You're the only one that can say, hey, I'm unique. I accept who I am, and I'm ready to move forward. So again, till next time, back on basics.